Ryanniag ti Ilocos, programa ngagserbi kamang kenrang tayo iti gobyerno probinsyal. Lalo na, iti beneg iti sanggo niyang panlalawigan ti probinsya ng Ilocos Sur. Mangted tinanay ng informasyon kadagiti programa, proyektos, tulong, ken mga sister kadagiti agproblema nga OFW at kalugaran tayo. Ryanniag ti Ilocos Sur. Tinagaget, Produktibo Presiding Officer, the busy Governor of the Province of Ilocos Sur, Ryan Luis Singson, our main anchor, Ken Lito Javier, our co-anchor, Ryanniag ti Ilocos Sur, at tuyen nagsubli ngagserbi kada kayo, agsipod tada kayo ti inspirasyon mi, Ryanniag ti Ilocos Sur, da kayo ti inspirasyon mi. Hello, good morning, 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 Ilocos Surian, and welcome to Ryanniag ti Ilocos Sur. Musta kaya amin na po, March 21, itata, apay, gananukan, March 21, kumusta kaya amin na po, sapay-sapay lang kumatay, ti piyaken na karadkad, dakit sangwan ng telebisyon nyo, through Facebook Live, Ilocos Heritage sa channel, ken syempre, iti Eagle Vision Cable TV. Good morning to one and all, mga kaibigan. Musta kaya po dita Balasyo tao, especially dita Haiti. Nako, nasurok nga sa nakurang nga 200. Apo nga Pilipino ti adda dita. Agbakwit kano di more than 63 because of this dakala po nga problema nga ti peace and order dita Haiti. Prime Minister na nag-resign pa yan, mga kaibigan. Okay, kumusta tayo amin na po? Apayag, ngiti madina tayo di switcher mo. Oh, sos Mario Josep. Lakit daan nga minang ka, nalakay pa yung tinumutibiangan. Detan, kailangan talaga nga agsukat papagayam iti deta switcher rin nga makunkunan. Okay. Pukaw-pukawan. Deka. Isimpa na basit. Dito'y technician tayo. Apo kailian, medyo madi apo apektaran jay live tayo ngay numo tagidende pa na Sipam
Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives. Di kooperatiba ano bayagin nagseseri pay dagiti nayon ang kasdek akas ti NSCC Farm, Chicharon Processing Facility, Macro Laboratory, kastameten ti NSCC Plaza, ken NSCC Business Center. Isungan niya pelang ter orayam makikapengkan iti kadakilan a kooperatiba iti probinsya. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives suman na NSCC. Imatmatunan na daytoy ni Dr. Divina Kenny.
Paapo ka di makay-ayo abuya iti uneg iti pagtaingam. Anya nga nagasapulam kas ti moderno a klase ti silaw kada dita ti chandelier LED lights kenda dumapay kasabay kadagiti agkakapintas at toilet bowl wall claddings stainless sa lababo kasameten na dumaduma ti klase na a tiles kenda dumapay a materyales at kasapulan ti pagbangon ti balay pasyaren ti AC Newborn Home and Builder Center nalawa ti showroom da agkomportable kang agpili ti kayat mo a disenyo mabalin pa nga isuday ti magi-set up kadagiti gatangin masarakan sa Rizal Street, Sulphur, Bantay, Ilocos Sur imatmatunan na Mr. and Mrs. Alain Chan saanen nga agtaktak mapankan sa JAC Newborn Home and Builders Center.
Lisensya ba ang problema mo?
Okay? Okay na? Okay, mga kaibigan, dispensarin nyo basita po. Medyo basita problema dito ayan iti technical tayo. Dito'y gamit tayo ng aming since World War II palaang, mga kaibigan. Since World War II. Okay, so okay na po. Thank you very much. Kumusta kayo amin? Gagayam ka na po kay Lian. Ano ba yung pinaka-viral na pangyayari sa ngayon? Uy, ingat-ingat sa pagmamaneho. Nakadado ti vehicular accident. Idi Kalman. Dita parte na po iti San Juan. Grabe na yung nagdinumpar. Barong nga lugan nga SUV. Nagbakasyon from California. Piman na yung retired nga nurse. Na pan piding dita balay taripato tatta di agawidan nakadinong parnamat datoy pasaway nga driver nga nag-overtake ti alanganin. Grabe. Anya na po giti nga paspasama. So agan annad kayo da kayo nga kaskasero agan annad kayo apo ta narigat ti kaskasero. Mga kaibigan, narigat. Wan, ganad kayo kun mangkada kayo narigat ti kaskasero. May ramraman da kita saan nga mangiramraman. Nako. Anya ti viral itatta. Datay nagana yen. Nya nagana yen aso nga yen pinartidan retriever. Nya nagana golden retriever. Di barbunan nga brown. Naamo day jay mga kaibigan. Tata na po. Kung kondenaran iti Animal Welfare Act ka, deta nga tao, di parte na ti Camarines Sur, napadnaki di pinangpangoray, in langostina, sana palang minalmalo manan, tapos pinaparti na. Hanam ang aso na dyan, nakatalaw na yung aso ngamin, di yan ti mismo makingkukwa, piman, ya, ba nang matay makingkukwa nga balasang. Kano, pag birthday yan na pa yung aso na, arakupen na pa, kakaida na pa yung kama, Diyos ko Lord. Anyan. Tapos kasjay, amoy siya kag pulpuloton nakmet ti aso ngam hangko bet angay parangarang wenno tay ko ipagpakita nga uy aso deta di ba ngam ti ko naka po masapol ata met angay kantayo ti importansya dagita ngamin ke naala ti kamera na CCTV mga kaibigan ay susapo Mario Joseph kayo nyan adda ti kaso ti bigan idi ti kaso ni ti bigan idi na pukaw datay aso ni apo dati nga ABC President Nico De Leon birbiroken da ay nakadanon mo to niya pagpandayanan na panamot inlakon pinarti mo jag parparti aso di jayon mga kaibigan so awanan natuntunan dan ngam napulutanan so tatanay paritan na po ti parti ti aso kadaglako ti aso ditoy bigan ken ore pa dito parte na po ti bantay may paritan papagayam tilayan ti agparti ti aso tatan ke aglalako ti kilawan nga aso kadar iti mapulutanan dito parte ti magsinggal dito parte ti Narbacan second district digita langan may paritan adda na yima ko ng Animal Welfare Act hamak kidi ang agi imported nga aso iti parpartienda nga ipapulutan nga ilako no diket di digiti askal mga kaibigan jakman na muna po no iti pada nga manginom magustuhan dati aso nga pulutanan kaya napengam kalding. Kaya, awala ti kwanta aso, kung kunada ngagbirok-birok, sabsabaling amin, mapang kami di bagyo, kaya, awala asod ta. Kasi di bagyo ngamin, papagayam, nairuamdan, ore pala idi tiyempo apo iti peace time. Agila ko dati aso, pandag tiliw ti aso dito, parte ti dagupan, isang da di bagyo, nakadado nga aso, dita ordaneta, nagado nga aso idi apo, ilako da, nakakulong, agiawid na pa dito idi, ilako da, papagayam, kasi apo ti aso idi, gatangan dati talong aso di jay ilako dan tomat apo iti 5 aso dito kasya di kita aso idi gagayem kana po kailan nga ilalako da open idi tatahanan simmika mo daytoy nag-viral la ka nga ron social media ata naka CCTV dayjay pan na pinang-or nga aso tapos ilangostina dinilangostina pinang-upang-or na pilaang tatareta mga kaibigan, kun din na rin na po. Tatareta nga tao, kaya da nga mapupok. Tatareta nga tao mga kaibigan, halang nga na dyan magkidia, adupay mo tinagaramid ti kakasta, adapay na dyan pusa, papagayam, di ba? Amuyo na gitay tattao nga mahilig nga agtarakan ti dingwan, ngas lang mga kita aso, pusa, ay na po, ikang kagumaan da. Nagngina kaya ti aso, dati aso nga sangpe ni pareng Peter Paul Pardo ken ni Comadre Susan. Susan Roman. Ditoy parte na po ti Sagneb Bantay. Naggapo Italia, inlogan dat eroplano 1,200 euro iti plete na. Grabe. Di dinamdamag kumet ken ni bagis Marcos Pinol naggapumet di Canada ay ado asok di Canada bagis ko na naggugwapo nagti bulldog ko na ipakita na kanya ay susapon naggugwapo nagigi bulldog na di jay ong tanda ka pa wanuhaan ina every month umay da inspekan di asom no nakaragkan ken si bibiyag malang kasya po ti bagbagada, di abroad. Kaya dito Pilipinas, nasurusuro tayo matan, dagitan. Kinagpeso na, dapat ka dogsyo no dadduman. Ya? Mapangka dyan ni Tito Bers, yan ni Ma'am Cara, ay nakadado aso na, nasuro 50. Di balay, ay sos, Mariosep, innem ti aso min. Ya? Innemon ti aso kon. Adi yayan, pakpakanan ni maestra, di pa di manganan, ti aldawan, no, han na mapakan nagi aso na. Iso lang ti kamkamakaman na nga panapakpakanan. No, ti bimigatan, parwaran nan, mapanamatan nida pa patakyanan, ito no nakapatakin, ikulong namanan, ikan na dito ti kanandan, kastamat iti pangaldaw, madigos damat, every other day, syabun da pay, shampoo da pay, digayubing ko, gimatang da pay ka digiti ingkabil da nga dangli-danglings da, isos, Mario, sa kung na kanyagi din ati ason, wana member of the family nga mindaytan, di ba? Malagay po yung kanta nga Pepe. Si Lolo Se, si Lolo Se. O, di ba? Aso lang apo iti matalik niyang kaibigan. Di ba? So, leta, viral, aso na panyo pino, apo Mario Josep. Hoy, kaway-kaway dyan, dagiti mahilig agpulutan ti asaw. Ngayon not to the extent that ang adajay patayam ya aso mga kasyemot, mga kaibigan, Mario Josep. Nya kay di mette na ya. Pada pala in video, pada po kumanata nakakwamot, naka CCTV mat. So data dimanon di Kongreso, dimanon di Senado, nya kamo nyo brenda ta. Adamo data Animal Welfare Act. Ade ang aron mat may reklamo pa iti kakasta awan. Dabayag nga tiyempo gagayang kinapokel yan. Kada gito'y malangan. Di po ba? Nakadado kami nga linteg ti pagilantay ang Pilipinas ni Muhammad Apong umiiral da kita. Astray animals kung awammet dagita astray-astrayaw di damo apo nga kaya nga datay di damo nga isimpa di nga ikolong na kita aso igalot di ba talaga mo astray animals yo mga kaibigan kailan pa laman di taman apo ti kahit ko nga impart kada kayo kailan pa nga naging maganda po ang panang simpayo kada kita nga aso yung kita animales yo. Mapapusa man, mapaaso man, napay daddo mga daddo mga dagiti tartara ninyo dita unag. Dagiti bilit mga kaibigan siya kada pay bilit ko na duma-duma nga klase. Ya. Sa balili bilit ko. Okay, alaga. Dagita no take na nga sikagat animal lover kamatan mga kaibigan. Okay matan, masursurong matan, maisimpam matan. Siya, gimatangak ti kulungan. Ya, nagparamidak ti kulungan. Sos, Mario Josep, I tell you, dagita gagayim ka na po kailan iti kunata yung banag nga ta siguro nga dayay haan tayo apo nga may laksi-laksid tatanta gimatang ka kulungan pag ginantibilit. Mano ti kulungan ko di balay? Upat. Okay? Kulungan ti aso, may isa, dua, talo, upat. Mga rami dakpay ti may isa nga kulungan. Mga rami dakpay may isa nga kulungan ko. Pagtara na manan, iti aso ko, mga kaibigan. So, kasjay apo, kasjay mga kaibigan, iti sitwasyon. Gagayem ka na po kailan. Tatta. Kung nga rod, kasano ngay, anya nga rod ngay, iti dapat tayo apo nga aramiden, kadagitoy, agundaway, kadagitoy apo nga pasamak. Gagayem ka na po kailan. Di po ba? Nakamadmadimot, di ba? Nagmading buy-buyaan, kan damag dahi kasyemot. Ure pa gano'n nagiti baboy ko magkan. Di ba no, partyam di baboy yung hamang not necessary mong bagso-bagso lang no, di kay di kuryentyam pay. Di pa ba ganon? Kasi yamot apo ti sitwasyon. So nga, ida kayo, dito tatagan, Animal Welfare Act, dagi tayo na dumaduma nga advocates, iti banag po ti panagkwati animales. Talaga mo, di ba? Masapula po nga amute amin dagito igagayem ka na po kailan. Kitain tayo po nung kasano po iti sitwasyon. Mga kaibigan no niya po ti dapat nga aramiden tayo. Wan, adaragiyan, wake up call day tapo. Masapol nga tumulong tayo mo, kada kita babanag. So nga, dagita pusa, orepen no native, igalo iyo, ikulong nyo, dagita aso, orepen no native, igalo iyo, ikulong nyo, kasi tara ninyo nga nasayaat, papagayam, di ba? Tata, kanyak, nakasorsoro na pa yung agtarakan di asaw, papagayam, nagdagsan kaya, kasi di suming askal, nagsakit, panimpadoktor gayubing ko, nakagastos na kati 7,000-an. Kaya nung gumatangak ko mati askal nga aso ka, narigat pa isang aribo, dahil parchim ko mga maysa. So nga, agngil-ngila-ngila nga ron. Tarigay yung bingo ka, nasuro-suro dati agtarakan di aso, teko na ako, animal lover damat, mga kaibigan, itatan, pati ni misis ko, kasi mutin na po, nakasuro-suro mutin. So nga, dakkalabanag da ito'y, kas parte mat ati panang respeto tayo apo itibiyag. Amo yun, o daduma ka, stress reliever, kung nada mo, dagitag tartarakan ti aso, which is true naman, kasi, orin kaso na ibang bandog mo, di asom, kita mo, may nakanto na tay karakarab asin, may nakanto na tay dilpa-dilpatan, gagayam ka na pokel yan, di po ba? No, sa baling nga tao, nakauy-uyong, nga no si kadibalayo, nakamaamo, di ba, kasjay, papagayam, at least, ada gwardyam, adiyay. So nga, makamutoy po, ada kanya tayo, no, kas ano tayo apo nga, isalakan mo, dagitoy nga, dingwen tayo, kano kas ano tayo apo nga aywanan. Kasla tao mo lang dagita, kasi sumre damat yung nagtibalay tayo, sumre damat apo dijay, unag iti kwarto tayo, papagayam. Di po ba? Dagiti aso di balay, niniimas pa si dadangan siya. Handa pa kahit timangan tinatang, dinengdeng, hanga naging naginawan, iti pagpakami. Puro chicken. Siyak, iti unos ti makabulan, jak nga makaraman apo ti sausage. Isuda, dandanida inaldaw. Isuda chicken, pamiga da, pangaldaw da chicken, pangrabi da, fried chicken. Puro fried chicken. Gasan da jay, nga igagastusan jay balay. Ipiskagan pa ni misis. Datay, kumbaga, no, da jay kumamanok ka. Ikatin na nagito lang, niya, inutin na nga piska-piskagan kasi sana to ilaok yan ti kananda. Kas jay, iti panang tartarakan na ni jay aso mi di jay balay, papagayam, ikatangam tinakangin nga nga dugpod. Tinumuti ba yung jakpeng agmerienda no maminsan ti may sangal daw, dagay asok, manganda sausage, manganda corned beef, manganda chicken, nerwamda ngamin. Handa kaya di jay digulaeng, haan. Anda kaya dagijay naginawan, anda kaya, mga kaibigan, ay siya, di balay, maong tanak pa no ikak isuda ti tay tultulang ti manok, ya? Kaguradak, yay kabalay ko, papagayam. Kasi apo iti ka-careful, lagi iti kabalay kong agtarakan mo iti aso. Ore pa no amuda nga siya, agpulpulutan na ti aso. Kaya, ore siya mo tagat, tagpulpulutan na mo ti aso nga not to the extent ang adajay, pangpangura mo di aso. At that time, hindi nga, ilakok yaso, askal, taba, kasi lumakay mutan. Kasi hindi po, napadasa mo't ati, nang punguti asong ilako na. Nga man na to the extent nga, minalmalo mo, apo kailyan, kasi mga talaga. Ngayon mapangkadi abroad, de kayo nga Pilipino, nga OFW, mapangkadi abroad, agtarakan kayo dito abroad, puro aso, kadwa na, dapat edad duma. Diyan napadpala sa nagtatarakan ti aso, di jay Pilipinas. Ngayon dito Italia. Kaya, padigosat yaso, ikotwak yaso, siyampuak yaso, lalok ti bobrana, dalusan na jay panganan di aso, mga kaibigan. Nag-iimas ti kang kanon di aso, di abroad. Di ba? Kas jay. So nagita po, nakasoro-soro tayo mga Pilipino. May panggip ka rin ito kasto nga, klase apo iti panagbiag. Siyempre, stress reliever tayo nga, makun ko na, gagayam ka na pokel yan. So, tingko na nga rin na po, alakat sorsorwan tayo nga na sa at mga kaibigan. Ti agtaraken ka na kita. Dog lover tayo amin, masapol amo tayo amin apo na gito'y nga klase iti, pagbiyagan na gito'y kailyan tayo gagayam ka na pokel yan. Kasi po iti sitwasyon. So nga masapol, oren niya klase dingwen, kasi lang kumamat nagiyay nuang, kadabaka. Diba, padigusin nyo, pakpakanan nyo, napadasan nyo ba tinagsubo iti baka, mga kaibigan? Nagsubo subo. subuan nyo baka, ori ka lang natin doon nagbanangas, ori ka lang mapuno ta, rupam iti katay na, kadadugong na. Kasi kada kami di, ay wanam mi apo na kita baka, papagayam, padigusa, nagdakkala baka, napadasak pa tinasangdo ti baka nga padpadigaws, kasi apo ti sitwasyon. Kada gidi nga panahon, di da kami tubing, pangmoyrotan, mga kaibigan, kasjay niya, iti pasamak apo. Kung amang kada kayon, since nga dala ito, wake up call kada tayo amin na po, amok nga napatig kada kayo na kita dingwan nyo, so nga masapol nga kilalaan tayo. Kasla tao damot lang na kita papagayam, amu damot. Kitam yaso, no padaso nga pangurin yaso ka aganang ang tumaray pay, papagayam. Di po ba? Kita am ka, kastunay pa'y kusilap na kinyam. Uri pusa, no kogtaram, lumabampay. Kasi kasla tao damo lang na kita. Ngamlaan, muyumot ti tao mga kaibigan, carnivorous tayo sidaan tayo na kita po. Ade nga klase ti animal nga hanga masida. Di po ba? Ngam, siyempre, kas na kung nakada kayo, amu tayo lang tamang ay dalimanat kumada kita. Ngam, no, di kasi nga wagas matan, iti panang patay mon, tamo mong kaaskal, dagyarwar nga karaywara, dayay. Nakatalaw ngamin dayay. Nakatalaw ngamin. So nga, ortean tayo, nakadadupit ti askal dita, no daduma. Dayay napilidak ini dita, nga askal. Igalo yung amin na, kung mga kaibigan niya. Tapos, agrugi na takalkalsada. Sa totoo lang naman, di naman po pwede nga agkarewara na kita nga aso dita kalkalsada apo, kada pusa. Ti parbangon, tenga ti rabi, ingga na ti bigat, alas 6, mapangkata National Highway, agbilang ka ti mano nga matay nga pusa, mapilidan, kada aso, nakadado, papagayam. Kaya nasawain nga do ti astray animals tayo. Ado matan tinatay gapo ti aso. Natay da in the sense nga nakagat na ti rabies. Ti aso, da rabies ti aso. Natay da gapo ta dinungpar na aso na motorsiklo na ipakpakyolo. Kakasjay mga kaibigan iti pangyayari. Ya. Recently, kalding dita barte na po ti Banawang. Gipadami kadwami apo ti biyang ti media taga PTV4. Barbaro pa yung motor na. Nadungpar na po di kalding na nakabulos. Si Memplang. Idi na minsan, agawid kami, idi na minsan. Naggapo kami dita narbakan, di kalman sa nayay. Agkaray bulos man na po ang kalding. So nga, agbalin tayo apo nga responsable kadagitoy nga klase apo iti panagtaraken iti dingwen. When? Dagiti matatao, han tayo apo nga agbalin nga cruel, wano nadangkok kadagito yung klase ti animal. Wan, kasjay mat, pare-parehas mo lang ti tao. Kung nadamay no daduma, dapat adda ka lagi balbalayo, adda ka yung nagtibalayo, ti di las oras ti rabi. Ngam niya bubraam, adda ka pala di talang langalang laglag. No adda askal nga tao, adda walay nga aso, adda mo walay nga tao. Parang ganon. Diyan kalsada tayo na. Papagayam na yung tao. Nya kayo nasan mo na yay, walay. Di po ba? Salamat diya aso diyan kalsada tayo na, walay. Pakanam nga na siya, diya aso, kitaam. Amin nga klase nga dadyag lawlaw. Nuhan na nga kaya, han na kaya nga kanan. Ang mabisinan diya aso, ore anya ti adda dijay. Ngalngalan na, ultimo plastic. Ngalngalan na, mga kaibigan. Ultimo napkin. Ay po, ngalngalan na. Ngam no taranam nga na siya at pilyan na mo diya kanan. Kaslama kanya mat di ba? Ganun naman talaga yun. So nga dito ya po, wake up call. Kada tayo amin, gagayam ka na po kailan. No agtarakan tayo po, masapol nga ayatin tayo. Ken no, adda giti askal dita hangas jay. Ya. Dito ibigan adda giti kwa diti what jay ko na nga animal pound. Agpasyar na ti bigbigat, parbangon, rabi, kasyan, no da makita da askal di jay silwanda. Pasakada. Iyadad do magaputa nanginamot yung welta 1.5 kaya ay aso ka 1.5 patig na nga sa ngaribo bay andan. So nga ti pumayan na to na ipa-adaptar na no libasin na to mga pugpuganan kasi mga kaibigan niya. So nga ito wake up call. Dito yung nangyari po. Ito'y golden retriever nga pinatay da dijay kamsor, mga kaibigan, ngayon gana tata nag-viral nga issue. Okay, manamdaman to po, mapantay dijay ilit isugpon, nagsipod din ito'y Ube Festival, dijay ilit isugpon, mga kaibigan, pimasyarmet na po Vice Gobernador Ryan Singson sa dijay, agagayam, sugpon, Ilocosor. Ken dijay last part apo, iti program tayo, Ryanniag ti Ilocosor, dijay tometen BBM report tayo, mga kaibigan. When sakit sa ni BBM ken ni First Lady di papanda di jay Germany kada Czech Republic So padaanan nyo po dito lang programa tayo Ryanniag ti Ilocosor kalpasan na giti palagip.
Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives. Di kooperatiba ano bayagin nagseserbi kadang ti Ilocano iti amyanan a Luzon. Di kooperatiba ang manpapaay ti serbisyo, benepisyo, ken manisakit kadang ti empleyado ken miyembro na. Ti Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives wano NSCC ket adon tinatulungan na. Babayin met iti namayat alangin-langin ken kooperasyon dagiti miyembro ken mangimatmaton. Adon tinaturoasan ti kooperatiba. Adupay dagiti nayon ang kasbek akas ti NSCC Farm, Chicharon Processing Facility, Macro Laboratory, kastameten ti NSCC Plaza, ken NSCC Business Center. Isungan niya pelang ter orayem makikampingkan iti kadakilan a kooperatiba iti probinsya. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives suman na NSCC. Imatmatunan na daytoy ni Dr. Divina Kenny.
Papuga iti makayayo abuya iti uneg iti pagtaingam. Anyama nagasapulam kas ti moderno a klase iti silaw kada dita ti chandelier LED lights ken na dumapay. Kasapay kadagiti agkakapintas a toilet bowl, wall claddings, stainless sa lababo, kastamenten na dumaduma ti klase na a tiles ken na dumapay a materyales agkasapulan ti pagbangon ti balay. Pasyaren ti AC Newborn Home and Builder Center. Nalawa ti showroom da, agkomportable kang agpili ti kayat mo a disenyo. Mabalin pa'y nga isuday ti mangi-set up kadagiti katangin. Masarakan sa Rizal Street, Sulphur, Bantay, Ilocos Sur. Imatmatunan na Mr. and Mrs. Alain Chan. Saanen ngagtaktak mapankan sa JAC Newborn Home and Builder Center.
Lisensya ba ang problema mo?
Yes,
Jaila Driving School ang puntahan mo.
I love it.
A driving school accredited by LTO. They offer TDC or Theoretical Driving Course. Kailangan ito para magkaroon ka ng Student Permit. PDC naman or Practical Driving Course para sa mga kumukuha ng mga non-prof or professional driver's license. Upgrading of Restriction Code. Ito naman para madagdagan ang klase ng sasakyan na pwede mong imaneho o di kaya ang Special Driving Course para sa mga gustong matuto ng tamang pagdadrive ng motorsiklo, tricycle, four wheels, manual or automatic, at iba pa.
It's great to learn these.
Jaila Driving School. Garantisado ang serbisyo. Mababait at masisipag pa ang mga magtuturo sa inyo.
You got it right.
Kaya madali kang matuto.
Beautiful day.
Jaila Driving School with its main branch located along Quirino Boulevard, Barangay 9, Kuta, Vigan City. And soon, Sinait Branch located National Highway, Kalanutian, Sinait, Ilocos Sur. Enroll now at Jaila Driving School. Put the key in the ignition. Invest in driver's education. For inquiries, call 0966-981-0745 or 0922-867-4357 or visit their Facebook page, Jaila Driving School. Enroll now.
Ang init naman dito sa kotse mo, pare koy.
Sira na naman kasi yung aircon niya eh.
Sira na naman? Di ba kapapaayos mo lang kahapon? Pare, punta ka na kay Elmer Romero ng Romero's Car Aircon. A real air conditioning expert. 100% guarantee. Nakatipid ka na? Aircon mo, long life pa. Kaya punta na sa Romero's Car Aircon. The Denso Authorized Service Center with well-trained technician of Denso Philippines. Hindi lang basta aircon. Romero's Car Aircon. Located at National Highway, Balaling and Agay, Bantay, Ilocos Sur. For information, call or text 0939-922-8485.
As the heritage province of the North reopens to tourists, it launches the all-new Tour Ilocos Sur app. A quick guide to Ilocos Sur at your fingertips. Find the best tourist spots. Hotels. Bars and restaurants. And authentic Ilocos Sur products and food. Be updated on upcoming events, plus get notified on the important announcements and updates. Available for global download on Android and iOS. The Tour Ilocos Sur app. Historical becomes digital.
Ilocos Sur with a wonder city of the world, a place that will travel you back in time. With this horse-drawn carriage called Calesa, we'll see the heritage back from the Spanish era. Bantay Bell Tower and a chapel of the ruins, a sacred place at the St. Augustine Parish Church, St. Paul Cathedral and Santa Maria Church. Places that could relax your soul with pure tranquility. Try some vegan empanada, bagnet and pinakbet, vegan longganisa, tinubong and sinanglaw. Then we'll watch the dancing fountain where the waters and the lights groove with the music. Everything just seems so right. Yes, Ilocos Sur with a wonder city of the world. Yes, Ilocos Sur, a God-given haven. Yes, Ilocos Sur, your home away from home. Yes, Ilocos Sur, a wonderland of Eden. If you ask me now and then, where are we gonna go? The only answer that I know, sure, Ilocos Sur. Sikia Mansion, Crisologo Museum, and Padre Burgos House reminisces the past. These are old houses of great ancient people, treasured memories that brings them back to life in our minds. If you're into animals and the beauty of the nature, at Hidden Garden and Bulwark to be their guest. Pagburnayan vegan jars, the best for souvenirs. Customize your own and learn the art of pottery. We'll go to Banawang Beach, but don't forget the side trip there. The amazing thrill of zipline feels so good, just don't be scared. But if you wanna do some hiking, we'll go to Tirit Pass, where the legendary battle made a memory that won't last. Yes, Ilocos Sur with a wonder city of the world. Yes, Ilocos Sur, a God-given haven. Yes, Ilocos Sur, your home away from home. Yes, Ilocos
The Governor, to our board member Apo Magkay, Apo Erickson Singson, Apo Hironelia, and our friends from kay Nia po. Thank you for coming and for gracing our town fiesta and ube festival po. Kadwak dagiti po opisyales iti sugpon ni Apo Bise, dagiti po nga sangguniang bayan, dagiti po nga empleyado, dagiti po nga farmers, dagiti po nga barangay officials, tinaduma-duma nga innam nga barangay ti sugpon, apo nga bisnisita, ken apo nga opisyalis iti probinsya, apo nga nagaputi regional line agencies, Pag-ibig, PIA, DAR, PSA, pasangpet pa iti isud, on the way na, kaya nadumapay nga national agencies na dito'y kadatayo tata, aming nga bisnisita po, welcome iti sugpo na po. Palakpakan tayo man, dagiti po nga bisnisita tayo. Apo Vice Governor and Apo nga Bukales, idanon mi nakabarbara, nakapudpudot nga panang sarabo kada kayo. Kat patyan mi nga babaen iti initiative ken tulong nga makikita yo iti agda mga sitwasyon tayo tata nga nakapudpudot. Umay nga tawan na po opisyales iti probinsya, yun po namin kagyaman pasapay ko mata daytoy nga talaong kat ito no umay nga tawan kat malinunganan babae iti tulong niya po. So basit lang man ti masapol kakailyan around 30 to 40 million tapno lang malpas tayo daytoy building. Malpas daytoy building nga malinungan at to aircon na at the sound system nga in place at the fire hydrant na at dumapay nga amenities at the pagayaman dagiti anak kayo at the medics, at the library. Taday ito po opisyales mi, apo Vice Governor, ken apo nga Bukales. Isuna ti may nga plaza, isuna, may nga market, at bali nga evacuation center, tagduma pa nga pasentay ti building ken at bali nga opisina dagiti empleyado. So dayjay apo ti target tayo para umay nga tawan. Ket kadwa tayo the Vice Governor, kadwa tayo na bukal, na isuna man tiag-approve. Numan pa yung baga ni Governor iti kalman nga, sige, pagtitulungan tayo, kadwa na ni Kong Christine, nga da ito'y building nyo, ket naduma pa nga projects, iti ili nga sugpon, ket tumulong kami, kasya ti naibagada po. So with that assurance, ni Apo Vice Governor, iti isupay ti Governor tayo, datayo ti inspirasyon na at serserbi. Kat makere naman, itultuloy naman na kitang kalan, iti na pa nagserbi ka na tayo. So, han ko na ikadwa na tiyang saota, han nga inspirational na jay bagat no di kat di resolution. Resolution nga agtawat ti pondo, tapno ti kasta, nagiti opisyales na iti probinsya, ikanda tayo iti solusyon. So, with that po, nabisan pa yung palakpakan niya na po. Last message po, de kay Sir Matawad no battle cry tayo nga sige supon. Letter S, kaya nasa uwan, sang-sang kamay sa. Letter I, ipatag ili. Letter G, gunudan arapaap na. Letter E, ekonomiya naduras. Iso de kay sige supon. Sige!
Alright, palakpakan tayo ang paminsan na pigpig sa kapalakpak ni Mayor.
Sure, a wonderland of Eden. If you ask me now and then, where are we gonna go? The only answer that I know, sure, Ilocos. Para pa para para pa param. Para pa para para pa param. Para pa para para pa param. Para pararam pararam. Yes, Ilocos with a wonder city of the world. Yes, Ilocos, a God-given haven. Yes, Ilocos, your home away from home. Yes, Ilocos, a wonderland of Eden. If you ask me now and then, where we gonna go? The only answer that I know, sure Ilocos Sur.
Tatoy, patay ko na nga convergence approach. Iso nga nagatay problema may tinandanong idi. Kapo dati convergence nga dati na dumadumang mga national agencies. Kas kada non-government organization. Nasulbar ni idi datay kinakirang tinanong babaen di nagdudumang water impounding project. So adot di water impounding project. Yung oray no korisma makamula data tinaurnong nga tanong. Ngayon tatan, di problema tayo, umpog maten ti umatras. Nadlaw yung apo. Isong nga, nung napiktaran kayo, ti kinatikag, ti talon kada pagmulmulaan nyo, ti naduma-dumang anak natin. I-report yung apo, jay opisina ti Municipal Agriculture Office, na i-report naman ti jay probinsya. Ngamin, yung opisina ni Gobernador, pampamonitor naman na kita'y maapiktaran na ito yung atikat. Tadagaw tayo tataitil ninyo. Amo yun, no, matay amin na timula tayo ang kasanod tayo nga makaitip ni Makan. Panang mo na ito nga, narigat tayo nga makontrol ta, mismo mo din nga upog yung matras. So, report niyo ako na kita'y madamage nga mulmula yun, kapunan.
And happy fiesta, supon. Kadwak dito yapo, hindi madak na self-service gobyerno. Sila, and hard-working na Vice Governor tayo, Apo Governor Ryan. Son, Lanyo Junior, ken ni Apo Vice Mayor rin sa Kanyayo, dito'y supon. Di Maysa, nga ili, dito yung probinsya tayo, nalawa, dito lugar yun. May sabay, kitin nama, nyami, kahit napansin ko, kahit ato ti kulay ube na. Timing pa so, kasi ako, so, at ka-district 1 timer, pag-sel-saridan na kayo, kahit no, boom, itisukpon, iti banay, iti turismo, kahit pakaraksa kami matapon. Well, isabali nga pagmayatan ti pesta kat dagiti na dumaduma nga reunion, wano gatherings nga kapintas iti pakna. Taiso, iti pakabigbigan tayo nga Pilipino. Ta napintas iti family and community ties tayo. It is also the same reason why we are here. San lang nga po ta agserserbi kami iti gobyerno nga mga po ta kas makipagili kami mat kanyayo. Iso nga imay kami makirambak iti tinawag nga dakkel nga okasyon tayo iti panagpes tayo. Manan, happy fiesta supong, ket ulitak, pakaydayawa, ken dakkel nga yaman, iti panaking gitar ko, makaumay na, makiragragsak kanyayo. Agyaman na, and respect na.
Dati nga reunion, ket ako na tayo nga may isa form of reunion, dati pa nagkakaduha tayo tatlo, maamuan tayo nga.
Kaprobinsyahan, nga ganyan may kakapsat, Ili Asumpol. Kumusta kayo na po? Muna ikablawak pa na po kakadwami nga nagkapoy sa probinsya Kankanayon nga manging suporta na tayo kakabsat. O sa bali, BCS Vice Governor Ryan Simpson. Tagod na po si Adwa ka Bucales, si Manong Ben, na po Erickson. Kablawak pa na po si Maysra Gayem, Inagaget, na po Mayor tayo. iti kasumpon, ti naisem, ang mayor. Umisem ka man ako, manmano, ti haan nga mabighani kanya ng balasang. Ha? Nadigan nga mga parehas, hindi pa nag-iniya, nga pangpunguluan ni Apo Manny, Locson, Apo nga Barangay Officials, Ilocos Government ko rin supon, nga manalon, nga wala ni Mumbeng, nga magpakpakan, kadigiti, bumili. May isa akong meeting may sa club. Kaya magkakanayon nga mag-depender kanyayo. Doon daw, basbaso yun, nadakas-kaso yun. Sure Ilocos Sur. Tay kunak tatay, tay giwan Ilocos Sur, ken sure Ilocos Sur, ket agtipon, agpalit nga letter L. Hayat kasawan, pag-ibig, love, agintinayat. So nga tay kung kunatay yung hangkanayon, nga dito'y sugpon, iso ti pagtitipunan, ken pagdadanggayan, nagitiapo nga ipatpatag tayo nga opisyales. Presenting to you our BCS Vice Governor Brian Luis Singso.
Muna na po, kablawan tayo iti nalaget, nalaing, at mesa gayem tayo. Awan sa bali ni Apo Mayor Daniel Lanyo Jr. At sa event ni Apo Vice Mayor Rene Crisanto Lubrin. Yan kablawan tayo met Apo. Higito'y kakadwa, di sambinan palalawigan. Higito'y malalaget Apo. Yan maasahan nga bukales tayo na tumultulong iti probinsya ating Ilocos Sur. Ni Apo Bukal Ben Magay, Bukal Erickson Singson, ni Apo Bukal Boy Heronilian. Sangguniang Bayan members, diga ng mga barangay, kay Dadalwan, ni Apo Barangay Captain John Ito, Department of Agriculture, Regional Office, representatives, and headed by Ma'am Vida Kekal. Dito'y Apo napayag comment ng Mambon, hindi pa ilang Vice Mayor, ito'y anak at kapsatyo, ni Apo Department o National Irrigation Administration, Regional Office, Representative ni Apo Sir Emmanuel Luxon, Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation, Provincial Extension Office of Ilocos Sur, Ma'am Mercury Pasqua and staff, Philippine Information Agency, Ilocos Sur, headed by Ma'am Joya Kimoyo, Farmers Association, ken katangay na po, na inspirasyon ko nga serserbi na impag na oras. Agyaman ako na Apo, ti panaypitaryo, tumitibiyang, umay makiragrag sa kata na panagpesta, iti sumpol, dato'y Ube Festival. Numalagip yo Apo, nanipod, iti 2013, iti tamo na Apo nga nag-governor, dato'y timesa ng priority project na tinultulungan tayo, na papintasen iti production, iti Ube. Ta iti Apo, madlaw ko, mapugpukaw iti identity, iti produkto tayo nga ube. No ube gamit na po, ti somrek iti panonot iti tao, bagyo ube. Diba mo? Tas day ti mapaspasamak, ng tata na po nga bubinpintas, iti produkto tayo nga ube, Kaya nagtitindulong tayo apo nga dapat isugpon ti agbalin nga Ube, capital of Northern Luzon. So tigili kasapulan nga pondo para iti building nga po mayor na payag tayo nga araramidan nga punduan ket sapay kuma at kami met iti kakadwak iti bukal ket karkariga kami apo nga mapunduan ito'y kasapulan nga projects and programs ito'y sugpon. Kaya na mesa pa ako nga problema nga makikita tayo natta di bali at damit ni Apo Manny dito iti niya ket dati padanom apo niya tamboyomet natta at dati problema tayo nga El Nino. Di kapatpatang kung aron niya po mayor namalagip yung apo dati napalaras nga bagyo dati egay. Nalayas tayo, di ba po? Nakaro, itinanom. Ang ato tinanom, nalipod. Ito'y apla, ni Gana, di ba ba? Talaga nalayas tayo amin. Ngayon, isayang na neta po. Ayan na nataligan na nanomen. Awanin. Marigriganan tayo pagpadanom tata. Yuso nga ti aramiden tayo po. Planuin tayo, kaya panonotin tayo. Kasano nga i-hold, di kita natanom. Kasi apo tayo matapo, every year, at the rainy season tayo. Every year at pagbagyo. Ngayon, numalpas ti bagyo kada rainy season, awan manin apo iti tanom. Iso nga dumawat tayo met iti tulong, ken suporta iti niya, aplanwen tayo nga nalaing, no kasano, nga i-hold ti kita nga tanom. Tapno ang tantoman problema, kasalatin na El Nino, ket ang dalat ta reserva tayo apo nga tanom. Data apo ti aramiden tayo, planwen ni met, kakadwak nga bukales, no kasano ako nga garamit ti mesa nga resolution tapno baka alat tayo ti pondo iti national or iti probinsya tapno marami tayo di kito'y kakastoy na produkto pen na programa. Kaya nalaing pwede ito magundaway nagyaman ako na'y kenyayo ako nga manalon no awan kayo naroon tapo kakasi kami no awan kayo ako nga manalon iti sumpon awan dati na imas nga ube. Very popular tatapo dati ube. No awan ti ube, hanga na imas ti halo-halo. No awan ti ube, awan ti kati na imas nga kakanin nga bonata. Kaya na dati mayor, piyaya. Mesa po nga naramanak nga produkto yo na kay imas iso nga padasin tayo pong ilako ti aming nga hotels. Amoyomet, iti umay nga Holy Week, adumanin apo iti bisita tayo, adumanin iti turista, ket masapod apo nga mamuan, iti ito'y napipintas, kinaimas, nga produkto, iti probinsya na Ilocos ng runa, ito'y sugpon. Adyamanak, kenyayo apo nga manalon, tanawan kayo apo, awan, deto'y RA 7171, nga iso lang apo iti rason, baton lagi, no apay nagtultuloy, iti nagprogreso, iti probinsya tayo nga Ilocos. No awan kayo apo nga manalon, awan ti RA 7171, awan ti kalsada tayo, awan ti rangtay tayo, pagkadeto apo kita, sirok ti mangga, na agpies-piesta. Ngayon, kung nangaroon niya po mayor, basit lain apo, iti pondo na detoy, no naibagang kumalang nasapsapa, approve without thinking dahil bubungtan ako mayor. Ngayon, movement ako di sa buwan ng palalawigan, nakabinto ako timang kulit, kini ako governor, na dapat mapuntuan dito yung tapno ang kayo na para mapudutan, the next nga, panagpiesta kayo. Amoy ako di sa buwan ng palalawigan, na kami ako tigap-approve, iti pondo ti aming ay ili dito'y probinsya ng Ilocos Sur. Tumitibiyang, ti anak ken kapsatyo, chairman, iti Committee on Appropriations, na kami po ti mangkit-kita na nga pondo, no ang daman umay, na budget proposal iti sugpon, ti nagpapatangan mi na abubukal, awan ti meeting, awan ti debate, aprobaran min sigida, katingitan nga pondo apo, amok na priority projects, and programs, iti sugpon, iso rempeng na lang nga po, haan nga madelay. Di gatoy nga pondo, tapno, makita yun lang tapo nga agtultuloy, di pa nagprogreso tayami. Manen na po, kablawang kayo, kinaragsak nga padagpesta, namnamahan niya po, ito'y anak ken kapsat yo, adalat pa dito'y nga tumultulong, ken sumupsuporta, ken itultuloy ko apo, di pa nagservi kenyayo, tinapudno, tapno, amin tayo apo, ken makinabang, ken agprogreso. Manen, susunod igina, ken ay oras ka tayo na po.
Vice Governor Ryanniag, Luzon, Ube, capital of Northern Luzon, nagmayat nga din kaprobinsyahan niya, sapay kung matamagon tayo dahil natin mabiit. Kesa, detangarot kas ko na ni BC Governor.
Dosan nyo apo, dito ibati mi, dito tikitubukal, at ibati mi apo nga 50,000 nga pagdaragsakan, di pa nagpiesta, iti asugpon. Thank you, thank you.
Naging dagdagan yung partay na pigan. Gusto nga naibus di bukong kakapsat. Well, ngayon, dilaeng ko kami, malem, timawag ni Regional Director tayo tiniya. Nga mani, diyan masangot ko, tanagado pa karing kurak. So with our division manager that to help me ti Ilocos at damot yung Pangasinan, si Kamalangan na hindi mga representer kanya. Kunana. So kapulang kakapsat ito nga dito, tatara ito yung numutubiyang. Kaya't ko lang, nga ipakamumay tiyak damatang aktibidades at the National Irrigation Administration in order also to help mitigate dati problema tayo ng El Nino. Nagputot na nung awan lang katalinong ko dito, kinaling tara sa utak ko. No? Tawang mo tilinong ko kakapsat tulog. At tiyak damat na kakapsat, madama ongoing the construction almost 18 nga solar pump irrigation projects dito yung First District, di parte na ti San Juan. Ken Kabugaw, at dami kay Tin di Kabugaw, kakapsat. Ken may sapay nga itultulong tatasin niya ako. Dito yung panagiwarwaras mi ti dato'y RK-70, kung sa tayo, datay diesel water pumps, makina po. So at so far, at naiwaras ti niya Ilocos nga 150 units. Sa 75 ta, dito'y second district, hindi jay first district. So nga, nadya po ti agdamat nga measurement, ti agency tayo, tapos na makatulong, tapos mapalagaan ti problema tayo ti El Nino. Then, makita yung kakabsat, dato'y ibadok, kasla, at dati gear na niya, gear. Isu kami.
Ilocos Sur with a wonder city of the world, a place that will travel you back in time. With this horse-drawn carriage called Calesa, we'll see the heritage back from the Spanish era. Bantay Bell Tower and a chapel of the ruins, a sacred place at the St. Augustine Parish Church, St. Paul Cathedral and Santa Maria Church. Places that could relax your soul with pure tranquility. Try some vegan empanada, bagnet and pinakbet, vegan longganisa, tinubong and sinanglaw. Then we'll watch the dancing fountain where the waters and the lights groove with the music. Everything just seems alright. Yes, Ilocos Sur with a wonder city of the world. Yes, Ilocos Sur, a God-given haven. Yes, Ilocos Sur, your home away from home. Yes, Ilocos Sur, a wonderland of Eden. If you ask me now and then, where are we gonna go? The only answer that I know, sure, Ilocos Sur.
Ang init naman dito sa kotse mo, pare koy.
Sira na naman kasi yung aircon niya eh.
Sira na naman? Di ba kapapaayos mo lang kahapon? Pare, punta ka na kay Elmer Romero ng Romero's Car Aircon, a real air conditioning expert, 100% guarantee. Nakatipid ka na? Aircon mo, long life pa. Kaya punta na sa Romero's Car Aircon, the Denso Authorized Service Center with well-trained technician of Denso Philippines. Hindi lang basta aircon, Romero's Car Aircon. Located at National Highway, Balaling, and Agay, Bantay, Ilocos Sur. For information, call or text 0939-922-8485.
I'm not sure if the music, Mr. President, is Davos style, but we have so great memories from your visits in Davos last year. I really enjoyed our dialogue there, and thank you so much for your speech today. As you can see, there is huge international interest in the Philippines, and we also know that Secretary Raimondo was visiting you last week with a big business delegation from the US. We are here today with the distinguished delegation, and also thank you to all our friends in the Philippines for making this happening. And this afternoon, I think you're receiving Secretary Blinken. So I think all this interest also shows that there is a lot of trust in your leadership, but also in the economic performance of the Philippines. We are expecting also very strong growth this year in the Philippines, but even more important, we do think that there is just a question of time before the Philippines is a $2 trillion economy and moves to the 18th largest economy in the world and then to the 12th. What do you think, Mr. President, are the most important measures to take in the coming year to make sure that you reach the goal of 2 trillion and that you become even a stronger economy globally?
Well, in our view, and it has been, we have been consistent in that we feel that we really, at the very, very start of this, is that we have to go back to basics, but not basics as they were before the pandemic, the new basics for the post-pandemic world economy. And we are continuing to do that. When I speak of that, I mean in terms of the food supply and nutrition for our people, the shift from from fossil fuels to renewable fuels, considering that this is done in the context of hoping to increase our power supply and to decrease the costs of that power supply. And of course, after that, after just the making more efficient the bureaucracy, digitalizing as much of the economy as we possibly can. And for that, I speak mostly on the public sector. The private sector has really, by necessity, has had to keep up with the rest of the world in terms of digitalization. Unfortunately, it's the bureaucracy, the government functions that have taken the back seat. So we are trying to work on that. And we are making good progress as we have, I think it comes from that very early recognition that the digital space is the space of growth. And so we are moving in, continues to move in that direction. So we, having attended to, or continue as we have attended to the basic areas of the economy, then we now move on to the initiatives that we would like to introduce. And those are, what I spoke of in my speech, are the investments that come from private partners, even G2 also, but government-to-government investments are also something that we are hoping to increase. And these investments also must be directed properly. They cannot be just investments that are just perhaps very profitable, but do not really help the economy grow. So growth is still the main aim. I think we grow, the idea is that we grow the economy out of the doldrums of the post-pandemic situation. And so that is absolutely needed, because the truth of the matter is the Philippines does not corner any market in any world market. And therefore, investments are going to be key. But these are, what we speak are, of course, a commitment in the capital investments of the new sectors, not in the smokestack industries so much, but really, again, in the digital space and in the new technologies and in the new industries that have arisen from that. I speak of green minerals, battery production, the new technologies that we need to be adopting. So part of that, and so to play a large part in that, we are also focusing a great deal on the reskilling and upskilling of our people. So whenever we speak of investments, I always ask the prospective investor if we have, in fact, a training program, if there is a transfer of technology, because this is going to be essential. And so far, I think that it serves the interests of both the private side and the public side, that these continuous training and upskilling of our workers is conducted. Not only so that they are able to work in the areas that are important in the new economy, but also because we have a very significant part of our economy is dependent on our overseas workers. And for them to be able to compete properly in the international labor markets, those specialized skills that we are seeing are necessary, must be made, they must have that skill set so as to be able to compete and to find good positions wherever it is that they see opportunities. It has been very successful. It has been so successful, in fact, that we are always worried about the talent that stays at home. And that's why it even brings more importance and more impetus to our continuing training and development, adoption of the new technologies that are available in the world. And this is just something that technology is moving so quickly. We hold very much hope for the new technologies to solve some of these problems, but the technology moves so quickly, so we have to move quickly with it. And that is these are the areas that we have decided to focus on to continue the growth trend of the Philippines and to make the economy stronger.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. President, for sharing this vision. And this also just underlined that we are faced with a paradigm shift with new digital intelligent economy that we're faced with. And we do strongly believe that, as you underlined, right skilling and upskilling is critical. And the generative AI and the new technologies will be a major game changer and can increase productivity with 30% in the coming decade. But there are some concerns that these new technologies will just underpin that the winner takes it all. That's only the economies of size and the big companies that can succeed, at least on the hardware side. But there is also a big software side of this. So how do you think that the Philippines are ready for being part of this growth story? You already touched on it, but are you seeing this as challenge and a threat, or more as an opportunity with the Philippines that are such a populous country with 110 million people and very skilled in English?
Well, it's it's difficult to categorize it simply as a challenge or a threat, because any sharp blade cuts both ways. And we, I think, are seeing this now with AI, where we're still trying to figure out, we know how powerful it is, and we know how powerful it is going to be, even more so than it is now. We can see the necessity for AI, because there are many things that what we are doing is becoming more complicated, and we have to act very swiftly to be able to adjust to whatever occurrences there are. But again, I think I need not explain how the AI can also work against you. And but we must, there's a very clear understanding on our part that we must be part of that. Now, the asset, I mentioned this when we were in Davos, the main asset when it comes especially to the new technologies is our workforce. We have a young workforce. They are well trained. They are accustomed to working with foreign entities. We English speaking is not a small aspect to that. And so it is a workforce that I think, considering especially that many of the countries surrounding us have a graying workforce, and we have begun to see the diminishing of the birth rates in some ASEAN countries. But as I always say, the Philippines is a good Catholic country, so we make sure our birth rates remain healthy.
That's it's something that other countries see as a large challenge now, with fertility rate going so dramatically down. So I got your message. We should all listen more to the Pope in that respect. Mr. President, you're also kindly opened up for questions from some of the CEOs. But before doing so, I think we need to also address any elephants in the room. And of course, we already touched on the G2 competition between the US and China, almost half of the global economy. And we are seeing no growth in the global economy, but we are all worried that the geopolitical recession that we're faced with, the geopolitical tension, can influence negatively on growth. Your perspective on that, and of course, you also have a large neighbor in the north that you are handling. Any insight on your strategy to make sure that you can see a win-win situation there and not a lose-lose situation moving forward, but based on, of course, the interest of your country?
Well, certainly, doing all of these things that we are talking about in the context of a very volatile geopolitical situation here in the region, in Central Europe, Central and Eastern Europe, with Ukraine and the Middle East. But you know, when I say Middle East, that's where it began, but it has now spread to other parts of the world. That certainly presents an enormous challenge, and the realignment within the great powers for a small country like the Philippines is something that we have to be able to manage, at least for ourselves. We have little influence on what the great powers will do. We do, however, we are able, however, to deal with every power. One of the first one of the first expressions of foreign policy that I made was that we are a friend to all and an enemy to none. And the only way that I see we are able to do that is to separate politics and the economy. And we'll see what's good for the economy. And so long as it does not impact poorly upon the political life here in the Philippines, then I think it is an acceptable activity to enter into. It's not, as you can imagine, because economic power is also used as political power in many of these instances. So it is not that simple, but we must continue to make that delineation, and hopefully we make the right choices so that our political stability, our political sovereignty, and sovereign rights are defended robustly, at the same time that we are able to deal with any country in the world, no matter what their political leanings might be, no matter what their alliances might be. But again, it is a difficult situation. It's a difficult problem. I do not underestimate how complicated it can get. But as long as we have a guiding principle, and that is to separate the two things as much as possible. It's not necessarily, it's not a binary solution, but it is something that we need to do if we are going to continue to grow the economy and yet maintain our political stability in the Philippines.
No, thank you very much, and thank you also in Davos. You were very candid on this topic, remember? And it created a lot of news on this. So it's very interesting. So now the first I will turn to is Rajev Khanna, Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, SMBC. You're very familiar with them. You're over there, Rajiv. You have a mic even, yes?
Yeah, thank you, Bernip, and thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. President, for painting the growth story and aspirations for Philippines. As was mentioned, I represent Sumitomo Mitsui Bank from Japan, and we've been in the country since 1975, and last year we completed the largest FDI from Japan into Philippines under your administration. I think I do hope that this is kind of a leading indicator to more investments coming from Japan rather than us leading these FDI league tables from Japan. I think in terms of the renewable sector and sustainable infrastructure sector, that's a key focus for our bank. We have been a global player in this space, and I think I commend your administration on the very positive steps taken, including the introduction of the green lanes, as you mentioned, the simplification of the DOE process, as well as the bidding processes which have been executed, and finally also allowing increased foreign ownerships in terms of the renewable sector. I believe that if we look at the wider region in Asia, which I lead for the bank, I do see Philippines as a very important market for us. I think particularly in terms of the renewable sector, I think Philippines has a number of strengths. Historically, it has geothermal capabilities, it has pumped hydro and hydro capability, and now more recently the focus on solar and wind, I think is quite encouraging for us. So we would also like to encourage you and the administration to continue to grow this sort of process and keep a very stable pipeline of opportunities, because for banks and institutions and investors, it's quite important that we have a steady stream of opportunities which allows us to commit resources and commit investments into your country. And I think we are quite happy to basically increase our capital allocation, which we've already done when we announced our investment into RCBC Bank in Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is precisely the kind of, precisely the type of economic activity that will be very beneficial to the Philippines. You touched upon it tangentially, climate change. That's perhaps I was remiss in not mentioning that, because no discussions that we have in government now do not include measures to mitigate, to adapt to climate change. We in the Philippines have once again achieved the dubious distinction of being the most vulnerable country to the effects of climate change. And so that adds another dimension to everything that we do. because if you will remember in the remarks that I just made, everything, all the development that we talk about is premised on it being sustainable. And that is something that we really are very serious about, because we feel the effects. I was on my way here, we were all remarking on the fact that it's raining a little bit. And this is strange because we are in the middle of a drought. Beyond that, for example, here in the northern part of the country right now, we are suffering a drought. And the agricultural cost to that drought has already reached the billions of pesos. We have been able to prepare for it to a certain extent, but nonetheless, that is a problem. So that is a situation in the northern part of the country. In the southern part of the country, we're suffering floods. And these strange weather patterns are things that we are not used to. We are used to typhoons. We are used to the typhoon season coming in at a certain time of year, passing. The route of the typhoon is generally well known. And at the local level, we know how to prepare. But since, I would say, since Yolanda or Haiyan, everything has changed. And so we need to be fairly quick on our feet when we try to analyze what is going to happen. What the scientists have been telling us for many, many years now is happening. It is not imminent. It is here. And that is one of the greatest challenges that the Philippines faces. And we are expending a great many resources and a good deal of energy to try and make sure. Of course, you can imagine agriculture is the one that is the area that is most affected, and that is a critical area. So when you look at our financial numbers, you have to isolate the shocks that are hitting the economy and remove agriculture to be able to understand clearly what is happening to the economy. Because what is happening to agriculture are shocks that are completely out of control. They are nonetheless real and have to be attended to and have to be dealt with. So the shift from fossil fuels to renewables is something that takes up a great deal of our thinking, and that is why many of the investments that we are hoping to attract are in that area, in renewables.
Well, thank you so much for underlining that. And you know, a few years ago, we used to say that we're dealing with the climate change due to the next generation and our grandchildren. But what you're saying now, President, I think you're so right, is happening now and here, the climate change. And we're seeing that the price of inaction far exceeds the price of action. But we're also touched on the digital economies. I think it would be good to have someone on this. I think Jackie Wang, Google, where are you, Jackie? I think you have a comment or a question also to the President. He already spoke a lot about the digital as an opportunity and no more digital divide.
Hello, Mr. President. Thank you so much for that speech. My name is Jackie. I'm the country manager for Google Philippines here. So you mentioned and you speak a lot of digitization. And from a Google perspective, when we look at our digital economy report, our report reflects a lot of what you mentioned about the growth potential and the amazing growth that we've seen in Philippines. In Philippines in 2023, the digital economy is as big as $23 billion in gross merchandising value, and that's a compound CAGR growth of 16%. You also mentioned the importance of digitization around upskilling and reskilling. My question for you is, what do you see is the biggest challenge when it comes to digitization, and how companies like Google, from the private sector, of many of us in this room, how can we help in this digitization journey to help make a digital Philippines?
Well, we are still at the level where we're worried about connectivity. And we're working very hard because being an island nation, that becomes a real factor, that becomes a real challenge. And to start with was with government. When we first came into office, we conducted a survey and on what are the consumers' habits when it comes to the use of the internet. And we got back a statistic which was really rather worrisome, and that was that 95% of an ordinary Filipino citizen's activities in terms of payment, for example, clearances and all that, 95% of their activity is over the internet. The last 5% was government. And that's why we still are falling behind. We are catching up though, because there have been several groups that have come in that have extended our fiber optic network and have been setting up data centers. And we are hoping we are slowly starting to design a cloud specifically for the Philippines, so that there is some security. Now, having said security, the cybersecurity problem is become quite pronounced, and this is maybe the darker side of the technology. We have many instances where there are scams and there is hacking. In terms of actual security, we also have fallen victim to a great many of these nefarious activities. And so, yes, so those are the areas that we worry about. If you want to know more, seated at your table is the Secretary of Information Technology and Communication. So I'm sure he will give you an earful as to the detailed situation here in the Philippines.
Well, thank you, and we will hear more from the Secretary a little bit later, so we'll tap into him. You know that there is a lot of interest now also in investing in the Philippines. And when I looked at the numbers on FDIs compared to some other countries, the FDI being invested into the Philippines are still a bit lower than in some neighboring countries. And I was thinking, Prashant Kumar, you're with KKR, KKR being one of the largest then private equity companies in the world. What will it take, and maybe you have a separate question to the President too, but if you in 15 seconds can say what it will take to get even more FDIs into the Philippines, it would be good, and maybe a question to the President.
Thank you, Borge. Mr. President, a privilege to be here with you. We have been investing in Philippines for the last several years, invested with many partners in a company called Grow Sari, which is enabling sari stores with Lance, with Manny Pangilinan in Metro Pacific hospitals, in Maya, to your point about digitalization, creating a digital bank and payments access for many underbanked consumers, as well as in infrastructure in Pinnacle Towers, Frontier, which is creating telecom towers around the country and in generations. So thank you for all of your leadership and your administration's leadership in enabling investors like us to come in and invest here. One of the points that I wanted to highlight is it'll be great for the country to really showcase success stories of investments in the country around the world. I think a lot of people would benefit from hearing more about the changes that you and your administration have made, which are really enabling investments across digitalization and infrastructure, specifically in climate, as going forward. And that's one thing which many investors around the world are less familiar about, the things that have changed. So my request would be to just really showcase some of the changes and opportunities that the country is creating. And then the second one, which we've been discussing with some of your colleagues in the administration, has been around creating the basic foundational layer for digitalization, which enable national ID, credit bureaus, around foundations, which then the businesses can come in and invest in and start creating new opportunities for the consumers. So, but we are very excited about investing here. Again, question to you and your thoughts on what can we as investors, foreign investors, do to create more awareness, and what can we do to support your agenda in drawing more FDI into the country?
Thank you for that. And but I'm quite pleased that the areas that you mentioned are the areas that we are working very hard on. But these are structural changes that we have to make, and by their very nature, structural changes. Although we can make them in as quickly as possible, the effects as they go through the processes of the economy do take time, and so we have, I think, properly identified the areas that need work, and some of those have already been in terms of legislation, for example, some of those obsolete, shall we say, legislation has now been amended to be more open. We've really there are two elements to what we have tried to do. Number one is the recognition of the private sector as a full partner in the development of the economy, and second is to open the economy and to bring more the foreign investments in, but not foreign investments just because they're foreign investments in the areas that we feel need more work, and that is why I'm pleased that the areas that you mentioned are things that we have been looking at and have started to make the necessary changes, necessary structural changes. People in Davos, we were talking about recovery. I speak of transformation. I no longer speak about recovery. We have to transform the economy, and we have to transform the way we do business. We have to transform the way we think in many ways, and that's what we are hoping to try and do. Again, my confidence really comes from the fact of the workforce that I have such great faith in, because they have the record of the Philippine workforce here and abroad, especially abroad, has been rather good, and that's why I know that Filipinos can in fact do the job, and it's just a question of us, together with private sector partners, training them and getting those skill sets making those skill sets available to them, putting up programs to make them to certify them in whatever specific skills are necessary. So again, that it is I suppose maybe it's a bit of a selective process in terms of the FDI coming into the country, but you know, any additional activity, of course, is welcome, but of course we focus.
Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives. Di kooperatiba ang bayagin nagseserbi kadang di Ilocano iti amyanan a Luzon. Di kooperatiba ang manpapaay ti serbisyo, benepisyo, ken manisakit kadang di empleyado ken miyembro na. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives wano NSCC ket adon tinatulungan na. Babayin met iti namayat alangin-langin ken kooperasyon dagiti miyembro ken mangimatmaton. Adon tinagduruasan ti kooperatiba. Adupay dagiti naynayon ang kasbek akas ti NSCC Farm, Chicharon Processing Facility, Macro Laboratory, kastameten ti NSCC Plaza ken NSCC Business Center. Isungan niya pelang ter orayem makikapengkan iti kadakilan a kooperatiba iti probinsya. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives suman na NSCC imatmatunan na daytoy